In this video, we're going to make a button bracelet. Yes, another button bracelet. Why? Because YouTube told me that a lot of you really love to make button bracelets.
I made a button bracelet on a sunny afternoon. White flower.
If you're new to the channel, I'm Vickie. If you're coming back, thank you for that too. I'm going to show you some of the buttons that I pulled out that we could work with. Of course, I don't need all of these buttons, but at the end of the video, I'm going to share something with you about what I might do with some of these buttons that I pulled out. So let's take a look. Here we go again, and I can't help but think about that song I wrote, Button Button, Who's Got the Button? So that song might show up again in this video. I do have some buttons here, and they all have one thing in common, just one thing. What is that, you ask? Well, they are all shank buttons. That's what the back looks like. This one's a vintage one. This one is vintage. Another vintage. This little La Mode buttons. At one point it was 50 cents, maybe at a garage sale. Those have shanks. And these little rhinestone buttons, they're a little bit discolored from age, but I put them in here anyway. And what does this say? Visible System Solder Seal, Radiator Specialty, Charlotte, North Carolina. That's what they were in. So that's how I kept them. The rest of the buttons, as you can probably tell, are new buttons. We have some black roses, white roses, almost like a cameo, but it's a flower. It says it was $3.50 for one button. A cameo, originally $1.75. That's how I can tell sometimes how vintage they are. It's the price. This larger rose, and it's just a plastic button. Made in France, though, $4.80. Le Button, if I'm saying it right. Probably not. Originally 2 pieces, but there's just one left. This Bliss brand rhinestone with faux pearl. One button, just made in China. And some fun watermelon buttons. Lisa Pavelka, made in China. It was originally $5.60. And then I have these two cards of buttons. And as you can see, these are larger and these are smaller. Originally $3, made in Taiwan. That's a 1-inch button. And this is a 3/4 inch button, originally $3.40, made in Taiwan. So that's what I've pulled out here to work with. I'm sure I'm not going to get through all these buttons, but no pun intended there. But I do want to make at least one bracelet. You never know. It just depends on how much time it takes to make the first bracelet, and then we'll go from there. I also have some other things set aside that I'll be working with as needed. But every time I say but now, I think a button. What you will need for this bracelet is shank buttons, and you'll need at least 2 buttons. At least 2, possibly more. It just depends on how many you want to work with. At least for the first bracelet, you need at least 2 buttons. Let me get these set aside.
Shank buttons and a creative little tune. Different shades of pink beads dancing.
I'm going to start with these. The larger flower button will become a focal point, and at least one of these will become the clasp. But let's get these off the cards.
Cat's eye, 2 beads sparkling with a charm I couldn't hide. I gathered up my findings and I strung them one by one, not expecting what would happen when the bracelet was all done.
As I said, all I absolutely need for this idea is one larger button and one smaller button. I took these off the card, but I'm going to set them aside for now. The other thing you'll need is some jewelry making wire. I'm using 49 strand beading wire. It's 0.018, but I'm going to work from this spool. And how much do we need? Well, I have to think about that for a second. Let's start with 24 inches, since I'm not 100% sure how much I need. 24 inches for now. For small beads, take a look at some of your thrifted jewelry, because that's what we do on this channel. We thrift jewelry or find secondhand jewelry and upcycle it. So if you don't have any small seed beads, maybe you have a necklace in your stash that was made with seed beads and maybe you can take it apart and upcycle them. I find seed bead necklaces all the time. I have some other beads here. I have 6-0 glass seed beads in white luster. I have some tiny pearlescent seed beads, and these look like they're about a 10-0. These opaque seed beads are 10-0. 10-0 is the size. So I have opaque white, kind of a pearlescent white, and white luster, which is about the same as pearlescent. I also pulled out from my stash a little bag of crystals, assorted crystals. It's just some odds and ends, and I might work in some of these beads. You will also need some crimp beads or crimp tubes. I'm going to get both out because I'm not sure. Just going to get a couple of crimp tubes and crimp bead, and we'll see what we use. A lot of times when I work with seed beads, I like to mix them. And I do want to say that they are slightly different sizes because these are not the expensive ones. These are just, you know, something you could find just about anywhere. But I'm going to mix these together, just a few of them.
When I held it in my hands, I knew the truth was absolute. It turned out so adorable. I called it stinking cute.
Basically, we're just making a little bead soup here. You know, these are opaque. They might be pearlescent finish on the top. The plastic button itself is very opaque. So I thought I would do a blend of the little seed beads. So let's go ahead and pick up some seed beads, just randomly picking up some because we need to make a little loop. I'm going to try not to do alternating. I'm just going to kind of go random here. It actually is easier when I make my bead soup in my little spinner that I have, but I don't think I need to get that out for this. I think we can get by with just picking up a few. And just in case, I'm going to put a clip on here so these don't go too far down. But what we need to do is we need to make a loop for the clasp, which is going to be the smaller button. So I have no idea yet how many of these I need. So I'm just going to randomly keep picking these up, and then we'll check it from time to time. Let's go ahead and just move this down here a little further and just keep picking these up.
Did I say that it was stinking cute? I think so. But, or should I say button? What do you know? Little flowers pink.
Let the seed beads slide together, come together and make our loop and see. I think it's too big. I have way too many seed beads here. Well, that's an easy fix. All we have to do is take some off. How many? I don't know yet. I'm not counting them. Don't have to count them. You just want to experiment and see how many you need. So you need it to go through, but you don't want it too tight. Tell you what, I'm going to let these beads drop down a little more so that I can let go of the stopper. Just pushing these down a little more so I can take that stopper off and check it. Now that's too tight. So there you go. There's a good example of too many versus too little.
Little flowers, pink beads, shining in a row. This button bracelet stole my heart and won't let go. To keep or sell is not a question. That's the...
Bring the loop together. Push those out of the way. And now I feel that I have too many. So take a few off. You'll probably spend the most time just getting this right, but you do want to get it right. I think that's good. Okay, this is what we want to do. You need to bring the ends of the wire together because it's going to be a 2-strand bracelet. Bring the ends together. Pick up one of those crimp tubes. I'm going to go through crimp tube for this, I guess, and pull that down to your loop. Check it one more time because once you flatten this crimp tube, not going to be able to adjust this. Since we think it's good, just take your chain nose pliers or your flat nose pliers and just push this crimp tube towards the loop and flatten it and check it. It's not going anywhere. I hope that by time you would get this far in making your own bracelet, that you would have already gotten into your bead and jewelry stash to see what small beads you could work with, because that's all it takes. Like in this video, 2 buttons and some small beads. I know you have some. But before we start separating these 2 strands, let's add just a little decorative bead. I have a tiny little glass bicone bead here that was in this little bag of odds and ends, and just add a little decorative bead. It could be a round bead, doesn't have to be a crystal, but I thought I'd go with a little bit of bling. And then just to make sure everything's really secure, let's add one more crimp, and this time I'm going to use the crimp bead. So we have the flattened crimp tube, and then I'm adding a crimp bead. You can use all crimp tubes or all crimp beads, it doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that this is secure. There we go. So that's what we have. The loop, our bead soup of the opaque and pearlescent seed beads, a crimp tube. I used a bicone bead. You can use any little 4mm bead here, and a crimp bead. So crimp tube and crimp bead. Crimp bead or tube bead, it doesn't really matter, and you want 4 strands of wire to be able to fit through it. That is going to be the key, but almost every crimp tube or bead can manage 4 strands of wire. I'll have to put on the screen here what size I typically use that handles 4 strands of wire. I'll put it up here. And my QR code for my Amazon affiliate links if you're in need of any tools or supplies. But let's get back to this bracelet. As I said, we have 2 strands, so obviously we're going to work with 2 strands of beads. And then we're going to come together and add the little flower and then finish off. Question is, what beads am I using? That is a question. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned that I had some beads set off to the side. I don't know if it's this side or this side, but I do have some. So let's take a look at those, and also take a look at my necklace. I know it's probably coming untwisted by now, but this is 3 strands of some of the beads that I'm going to be showing you that you can twist. Do you remember these from the 70s, I think? Maybe the 80s. I don't know. But you would take multiple strands and twist them. I had it twisted. I can't tell right now if it's still twisted, but oh well. Let's continue on and take a look at some beads that I set aside that we might possibly use for this buttoned up bracelet. I have these tiny little round beads. You've probably seen these twist beads. You know, you just twist these, and these are probably from the 70s. I also pulled out a necklace that I could upcycle. I really do like these beads a lot, so obviously I'm leaning in the direction of some pink and white. I thought that would look pretty. Maybe I can use 2 shades of pink. I even pulled out some chipstones, but I'm not sure I'll use these today with that button. And I have these little cat's eye ovals. A few of these left over from something. So maybe I could work in a few of these. I'm just thinking about different shapes to make the bracelet interesting and not just all the same bead. I mean, you could use all 6 O's if you wanted to, but I really do want to add some interest to it. So let's go ahead and take this apart and free up some of these little beads here. I really like those, and I think I'll free up some of these too. So once I cut it, there's no going back, and that's okay with me because that's what we do here. We upcycle.
To keep or sell is not a question, that's the honest truth. I'm in love with this little flower button bracelet. It's so stinking cute.
I'm just going to tie these ends together so they don't go all over the place, and set this aside. This necklace is finished off with a clamshell. We've definitely worked with clamshells before, but I don't need that part. I just need to get some of these beads off of here. And I think I'll put these in a separate bowl. We might be able to use these metal components too. It's possible. Some of these are a little bit lighter pink, but that should be enough to work with. So I'm just going to tie this off just like you would a string of beads. Set that aside. So these are some of the beads that we can work in, along with maybe a few beads from here. If you are new to the channel, you may not know that my videos are for inspiration. I hope to inspire you to get into your own bead stash, your own findings, your own thrifted jewelry, secondhand jewelry, and have fun with it. That's what we do here. We have fun. I don't have a fun sign back here, but we have fun. I hope you have fun because, well, I'm having fun, and I want to have some fun together. Why not? I'm not necessarily going for complete random. I would like to have some pattern to this. Let's start out with a couple of these pink beads because they're small. It would be nice to have really small beads close to the loop, because you know they have to fit beside each other like this. Let's see what size these pink beads are. I think 3. Nope. No, they are 4mm, and these little donut beads are 5. So 4 and 5mm, so quite small. In fact, I'm wondering if I should go even smaller here for the first ones. Maybe I'll just go ahead and pick up a seed bead first, because they will fit tighter right here. They'll fit a little bit closer. Hope you can see that. So let's work on a pattern. I'm going for about a 7.5-inch bracelet. Maybe pick up 3. I'm going to call these donut beads. Well, we could pick up 5. See how they lay side by side. And then 5 on the other strand. These also are irregular, but that's okay. That's what we have so far. Let's add another pink bead, little pink round. And we will be adding in the larger flower and the small flower at some point. I have some 6mm rondelles in here. I don't know how many. As I said, these are left over from other projects. But let's pull them out and see what we've got to work with. Just want to make sure I get all the same size. I guess they're all 6. That's what I was hoping for. Let's add one of these white beads here, these tubular beads, and then see what happens if we put some crystals on here. I think I want the pink beads after the white one. And if you hear anything in the background when I'm making my videos, well, it's my ceiling fan. I get a little bit warm in my office. I have the door closed and I don't have the air conditioning kicking too high, so I have to turn on my ceiling fan or I would just roast. So if you hear something in the background, it's one of 2 things. Either traffic going up and down the street that I can't do anything about, because our street can get busy at times and I can't revolve my videos around the traffic. I have to work around it. So that's what's going on sometimes when you hear something. All right, I think I've got an idea. I'm going to go with some more of these. You know, a girl's got to stay cool, right, when she's working. It's not too bad. Maybe I'll add 2 more of these. I'll just have to figure out the center point when I get a little further along, which isn't going to be too much longer. And then let's go ahead and add the pink again. You can go with whatever colors you like, because you're going to have different buttons than what I have anyway. Let's add some more of these. I like this contrast of the bright pink with the light pink.
Did I say that it was stinking cute? I think so. But, or should I say button? Ooh, what do you know? The white flowers looked so happy. The pink beads sang along. The cat's eye tubes and crystals reflected light and helped complete the song.
I think it's looking pretty. I'm loving the pink together. Now, how are we here? How close are we now to the center of a 7.5-inch bracelet? Okay. We are at, this would come in right here. Right, I think we're almost there. And then we would have one, and we have to add this down here. I don't think I should go any further. I think it's time to add the flower in, the large flower button. When we look at the back of the shank button, we can see that we're going to need to cross through the shank, and we need to fill in this space with some beads. Originally, I was going to use seed beads, but I'm thinking now that I might just get by with bringing these together into another one of these 2 beads. Since I'm working with this, I am going to check and make sure that these aren't crossed over if possible. Get those on the same side. I'm going to put that back through there one more time. I'm thinking maybe I can just do this. Let's try it. I won't know if I don't try. And of course this, button is going to turn a little bit, turn upside down. So when you put it on, what we want to do is take up the space behind the button. And honestly, I think that's going to work really well. Other than I'm going to add one little pink bead here. I want to bring these together before, if I can get 2 strands through here. Not sure I can. Didn't think about that. It won't work. So let's see if we can use, maybe I'll just use a little 6/0 that I have here. And these will all get pushed down. So don't worry about it if they keep loosening up on you at this point. It's going to happen. Go back to the 2 bead. And then another one of these 6/0s. They have a silver lining. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go with that. Now we just have to pick up the same pattern that we did here on the left side. We want to pick up on the right, but let's check the measurement again. I'm going to clip this together. This is centered up at about 3 3/4. Well, 3 and 3 is 6, and 3/4 and 3/4 is 1 1/2, 6, 7 1/2. I think we're going to be okay. Let's just repeat this pattern. I'm just going to turn it upside down for right now. I may have twisted the wire at this point. No, this is on this side. All right, while I finish beading this, repeating the pattern as I go, I will play some music for you. I started out using the song that I wrote a while back for the other button bracelet called Button Button Who's Got the Button. I love that song. I never get tired of listening to that song, and a lot of you have said that you like it too. But as I was at this point in making the jewelry and this point in editing my video, I decided to stop and write another song. Now, you have heard the song throughout the video so far because I went back and changed out the Button Button Who's Got the Button to this new song called Stinking Cute. Cue music.
Every piece worked perfectly. Every color felt just right. A tiny garden on my wrist, blooming bright and light. I couldn't stop admiring it each time it caught my view. And while I'm keeping this one, I've got a wish for you. I hope the ideas that I've shared inspire something new, to gather up your favorite beads and make one like it too. Did I say that it was stinking cute? I think so, but, or should I say button? What do you know? Little flowers, pink feet, shining in a row. This button bracelet stole my heart and won't let go. To keep or sell is not a question, that's the honest truth. I'm in love with this little flower button bracelet. Stinking cute. Did I say that it was stinking cute? I think so, but, or should I say button? What do you know? Sometimes inspiration starts with just a bead or two.
I think we've got it. I'm just going to double check my pattern here. I've got the little white seed bead on the end. All we need to do now is attach the small button, which is the button for our clasp. And as you know, I brought these together with a little silver lined 6/0, and I want some flexibility. We need to put this through the button, and just like we did here, we want something to take up the space on either side of the button. What is that going to be? These are too big now, and I'm not sure if I can get 2 wires through these tiny seed beads. It's not really working out too well here. Maybe it's just me. Try another one. Not really working, but I do have more of these little 6/0s. Oh, and I do have a bicone here. Maybe I can work in a little bicone bead at this end, trying to find one that matches. So just pulling out some 6/0s. I'm going to put that bicone bead on here so that I match the one down here. Where'd it go? There it is. I couldn't see it. I really couldn't see it. Pull on each of these wires. Oh, let's put that crimp bead on. Crimp tube on, I guess. Let it drop down here because we have to go back through here and crimp that. So let's add these 6 O's. I know 2 wires will go through the 6 O's. So as you can see, I did not practice this first because just like you would be doing, I'm making it pretty much live, even though I'm recording it, but I'm making it for the first time, just like you would be. So I share with you the trials and errors of my ways. I think I'm getting too long here. Yeah, I'm getting way too long. We want the overall bracelet to be about 7.5. So let's get that ruler back out. And right now I'm at 7.5, but will these 6 O's go through here? No, they're not. Kind of surprised by that. I thought they would go through the shank, but that's okay. You know what we can do? We will back down to 3, let's say 3, then go through the shank, then pick up 3 of these again, or however many you think you need. Bring the ends together. Let's check the length again. It's right at 7.5. It might fit a little bit differently though than a 7.5 because of the beads themselves, but let's just clip that off and give this a try and see here. Button will go through here, and then it's going to pull back a little bit. You don't want the bracelet to spin around on your wrist. Well, let me see. Can I even just put that through here and see? It's a little different putting a flower button through than a round button. Ooh, that's a good fit. That's a really good fit. And I think I've got everything tightened up pretty good. Okay, I'm happy with that. Oh, now it's loosening up, but I will get a hold of that here. Okay, so I have a crimp tube, 3 6 O's, the little flower button, 3 6 O's, and I need to go back down through the crimp tube. So your crimp tube has to be large enough to accept 4 strands of wire, and most crimp tubes are. So I'm going to pull that down around. You see what's happened here. The wire is exposed a little bit right underneath the shank. It has to be because the 6 O's won't go through the shank. And I can't use the seed beads because I can't get the wire through it. So tightening that up. Before I cut it, before I flatten that and cut it, I'm going to try this on one more time. Oh, I like the fit on that. Oh my gosh, it's so stinking cute, isn't it? There's a song for you. I need to make a song called Stinking Cute. Maybe I already did. Maybe you heard it in the video already. Sometimes I write my music before I make the jewelry if I have some idea in mind, but a lot of times I write the song after I've made the jewelry. I'm good. I am good. I'm doing the happy dance. You can't see me, but I'm doing the happy dance. Let's just go ahead and tighten this up one more time, making sure that the bottom of the buttons are, facing the same way. Everything lays really nice. Let's, I'm just going to tighten that again.
A button from a treasure box, a color catching you. Mix and match, experiment, see where the journey goes. The sweetest little projects often bloom just like a rose. Did I say that it was stinking cute? One more time. A bracelet made of flowers and a little bit of shine. White flower shank, buttons and pink beads all in line. A tiny handmade treasure that I proudly call mine.
Check this out. Oh my gosh, that is so stinking cute. I can't help but say that because that's just what comes to mind. Let's see if I can get it on again by myself. Get those little flower petals through there. Look what you can do with a couple of cute buttons. 2 buttons, 2 different sizes. I guess I didn't tell you the size on the buttons. The large one, I guess it was on the card, huh? Let me tell you again the size of the buttons. So the large flower button was 1 inch and the smaller 3/4. So all you need is a 1 inch and a 3/4 inch coordinating button, and imagine all the fun bracelets you can make. And then get into your bead stash and have fun with an assortment of colors. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. It makes me want to make another one. I do love it. I really do. I'm going to put it on. I've got other bracelets here, but let me take a second and put this on. There you go. Now, isn't that stinking cute? Come on. Oh my gosh. Imagine all the different colors you can make this in. I am sure you could probably find some flower shaped buttons somewhere, maybe on Amazon, who knows. But anyway, there's my stinking cute buttoned up bracelet. I say buttoned up because it's a button clasp. And oh, I was going to tell you something else. I've decided, since I have so many cute shank buttons, and probably more if I really look harder in my button stash, I'm going to make one button style bracelet a month, and it's going to be the first video that I release each month. Maybe not in December, because I kind of get into Christmas ornaments sometimes then, but I am planning to release one button bracelet, first video of the month. So make sure you're subscribed and ring that bell so you get notifications and you don't miss any of my videos when I upload them, because I upload randomly. I am not on a set schedule. By not having a set schedule, it frees me up to feel more creative and not pressured to get a video out at any certain time. It's just part of my retirement plan. How's that? Release a video when I want to, not because I have to. Okay, let's take a closer look. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope you give this idea a try. And I forgot to say it earlier in the video. If you enjoyed it, I appreciate a thumbs up, a like, and be sure to comment. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe. And keep watching, because we're going to take a closer look at the stinking cute buttoned up bracelet. The words just fit. Stinking cute. What can I say?
Is this button bracelet something that you would do? Or would you gather up some buttons and create one, too? If these ideas inspire you, then my work is through.